On-site processing. So on-site waste processing, the benefits of on-site waste processing is to reduce the volume of waste and to recover usable materials, and also to alter the physical form of solid waste so that it is easy to handle. So on-site processing that can be followed in different buildings or from low-rise detached houses, like places where you have isolated houses. So you can have a separate food grinding place, and you can have a separate component separation. You can separate different components, and you can compact the waste, right? When you have a bulky carton boxes or plastics which occupy bigger space, you can compact it and you can make it smaller. And next is incineration. Incineration is where few things which are safe to burn at home, you can do it. You can burn it at home, like the garden trimmings or the garden waste or the barks and the woods from the trees, that you can do. And composting is practiced uh, in houses where you have garden, and there you can take a small pit, or you can have few bins where you can keep adding waste, and uh, you can keep adding the bacterias which can compost, and you can take manure and you can use it in your field. And this is practiced in individual houses and low to medium rise apartments. So apartments you can have food grinding facilities, component separation, compaction, and stuff like that. And grinding of food. So grinding, what works in grinding of food is food waste. Grinders are used for waste from preparation of cooking and servings of food. So food which all get wasted, they have to be grinded. Grinders render the material suitable for transportation through sewer system. So here is the interesting part. When the food waste, if it's solid, it has to enter the solid waste management stream, right? That goes into the garbage uh, handling crew, the janitor. They pick up the waste and they handle the waste differently. But this is practiced in countries like America, where the food grinding is being done. So what happens is, here in Indian kitchen we have a sink. A sink is where we wash the dishes, right? And in America, the places like in the sink they have something for grinding the food waste, right? They have some mechanism. They have a motor which has a blade, and you just have to add the uh, waste in it, and you have to press a button which will grind all kinds of waste, be it the bones of the animals or any kinds of waste will get shredded into pieces, and it will be sent. Following that, it will be directly sent into the sewer system. This system will exist in the bottom of the sink, where it will have the blade, and if you just throw the waste into it, it will just automatically grind it and send it into the sewer system with the press of a button. Okay, so that's what is being mentioned here. The grinders render the material suitable for transport through the sewer system, right? The sewerage system will take the waste to the effluent treatment plant, right? The wastewater treatment plant of the community. The food grinders used where the weight of the waste collected per person is low, right? So if the dwellings are individual, and you can just grind the waste and you can send it along the sewer line. So where grinders are used, the time period between the collection is increased. So here we know the waste, if it's collected, right? The waste collected particularly the food waste, if it's collected, it has to be processed in a shorter time, right? So apart from the food waste, there is the potential waste in the collection is very less, right? So you can increase the time between the collection, right? You can the collection frequency can be less, right? Separation of waste. It is one of the most effective way to achieve or recover the material. So separation of waste is you separate the plastics and the metals and the non-metals, the recyclables and the reusables, and all that is being separated. So compaction is for when the waste, if it's of a higher if it's big sizes, and you can have a compactor. Compactors can press or squeeze the waste, it can shred the waste, and it can increase the density of the waste, right? So the it is suitable for small houses, apartments, and large compactors. Small houses can use and smaller size of compaction. Large compactors are used when the high-rise buildings and apartments where the number of dwellings are more, right? And home and apartment compaction units. So small compactors are manufacturers are based on the ratio of loose papers and corrugated papers. So it reduces the volume of waste by 70%, which means that you can accommodate uh, 3 trucks of waste into two into 1 truck, right? The waste is being reduced to 70%, right? And they can be used only for small proportion of solid waste generated, right? And so the drawbacks, or if the waste has to be separated into components at MRF, the compaction of waste would be broken before the sorting, right? So if at all, if you don't compact the waste of same type, right, it has to be separated at the material recovery facility, which means that it again has to be loosened up before it can take the next step. And also by compacting, the waste may be so saturated that with liquids present in the food waste, the recovery of paper and other components may not be feasible. So when one kind of waste, when it gets mixed up with the other kind of waste, when you try to compact it, and that will also be a problem, right? And compactors for a large apartments. Compactor for large apartments, it is installed at the bottom of the solid waste management chute. The chute is generally in large apartments where you have the chute collection system. The waste from different chutes ends up at the bottom of the uh, apartment, where if it's a 10 store, you have a common chute at the a common chute at some for a floor. You have a chute running from top to bottom of the building, and you have a common space where from the people of that floor can deposit the waste, right? So you can have a chute at the bottom of the apartment. So waste falling through the chutes actively compact by the means of photoelectric cells and the limit switches. So whenever the waste falls, it automatically picks up the waste by limit switches, and it gets compressed, and it automatically forms bales, and it builds up, and it can be used for other purposes. Right. Compactors of for large apartments, when bale formed or the container or the bag is filled, the compactor shut down automatically, warning light turns on. Right, and the operator can tie and remove the bale from the compactor and remove the full bag and replace it with the empty one, right? So this is all automated system where the waste gets where you just throw the waste into the chute, and the mere fall of the waste activates the compactor system, and the compactor system compacts it and puts it into the bale, and once it is tied, it can be replaced, it can be taken, and it gives you a warning sign, and the operator has to remove it and replace it with an empty one. And uh, the compaction, it reduces the volume, but the weight doesn't change. The compaction volume alone changes from 20% to 60% depending on what kind of material it is. Like I told earlier, here is a chute collection system. Chute collection system is, here you are able to see this is the first floor and this is the second floor, and it continues. In every floor you have a chute like this, and you throw the waste in the chute, and here it comes to the bottom of the chute, and here you have the activation system where it tells the waste is coming, and this gets activated, and here you have the compactor, and the waste comes and it gets baled up here.